Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, hello everybody. Uh, it's really nice to be here with you guys. I have come to IIT Bombay a few times in 2018, 2019. I used to come. I think I know like one or two of you, but I think I don't know most of you. And I wish I was there in person so I could get to know all of you. Um, but it's still nice that we're able to do this from here. I'm currently in Houston, Texas. It's bright outside and it's a really nice day. I hope your Sundays were also good. Um, so I will share slides and I'll talk a little bit about music and technology and all the things about music technology. Usually these sessions are like really nice if it's like interactive and we get to talk and all, but it's definitely hard, right? It's very hard to be interactive on screens like this, and I'm sure you're facing it in your classes and stuff, and I'm also taking classes, and it's really hard. So thank you all for like coming and staring at your screens with me. um, all I'd want is like people, can you like say hi or something in the chat so that I know you can hear me, uh, and then I'll start sharing my screen. Yes, it's so nice to see all the highs and hellos. Hello. Uh, it seems like there's only like very simple ways to interact on Zoom. You can like raise your hand and give a reaction or something like that. If anybody has questions, just like type it on the chat and maybe Jishnu can like read out the questions as we keep going, but it'll be great. Feel free to like stop me at any time and ask questions and things like that. I will try making it a little bit interactive. I'll share a link and ask you people to type something, and maybe that'll be fun. Maybe, let's see. All right. So before we, so let me just share my screen and get started. All right. So hello everybody. Hi, that is me in the pictures as well as over here. And my name is Manaswi, and currently I'm in the US. I'm a graduate student at the MIT Media Labs in the research group called Opera of the Future. So I work with making interesting music related things, and I'm always thinking about music and technology with music. And so I'm really excited to talk about some of these things with you guys. The name of this talk, and when Jishnu and me have been talking about music tech, is Music Tech Talk. But it's interesting, I don't know what different people mean different things when they think of music and tech. So I do want to maybe, I don't know how we can do this. Maybe I wanted to ask people, how many people like identify as musicians? So if you identify as a musician, maybe like say something on the chat, like musician or something. Okay, I see one has already. Maybe it's not, if you're not like a professional musician, it's hard to sometimes. I myself, I'm like a bedroom musician. I play guitar in my room, and so it's hard for me to think of being a musician. Musician, I guess, yeah. I'd say that too. Yeah. It's like an endless journey, right? Being a musician. I hope. I like that too. Yeah. Cool. There's a few musicians, and how many are like, I guess everybody's from IIT Bombay, so everybody is an engineer, right? So could you mention your departments, maybe then I'll know like which department. So could you type in like your departments? Okay, yeah. MEMS, I don't know what that is. Is that like materials? Civil mech, PhD chemistry. Nice. So I myself I studied engineering physics in IIT Madras quite a while ago. 2013 I graduated. But so as we can see, like there's so many people from like so many different departments. Yeah, that's super cool. That's so cool. All right, all right. So it seems like people are interested in music and technology for many reasons, right? Because everybody has some connection with music. Either you enjoy music or you're a musician, and everybody has their technical background because we are talking in this engineering. We're in IIT Bombay's context, so all of you are engineers. I think most of you are engineers. Maybe some people are not, but there are so many ways to so often we think about like these two things as separate. We do our music in our rooms and we do our engineering stuff in classes, and we think that they usually can't combine in many ways, but you'll be so surprised to learn that all the different ways in which music can inspire your technical life and your engineering life, and all the ways that your engineering skills can be used in music. And it's difficult to know that because we don't have a department called music technology in any of our engineerings. We don't have universities and not only academia, but even like companies that are doing music technology majorly. So we don't know all these things that can exist, but there are so many ways to do it. So in my experience, I have seen people study. So let's see, what were some departments that people mentioned? Uh, Computer science, of course, like computer science is every field is computer science now. I bet you guys know that. Everybody who has to do coding without being in computer science department. But even musicians are coding, and computer science is affecting the way we interact with music. Uh, Civil engineering, architecture, there's so much of like acoustics of rooms and spaces that are designed. um, I heard like materials, there's so much of like membranes and ways in which you could design like structures and study do finite element analysis of structures and see how a wave would pass through it, and how you could simulate sound passing through instruments and walls and things like that. Chemistry, oh, I'm so excited to discover. I bet there's connections with chemistry with music. Maybe uh, well, I think chemical engineering is different from chemistry, right? So you guys have to find the connection. Mathematics. But anyway, so there's a lot of connection with music and tech, and what I like doing is I will talk about a few projects that excite me. But before we do that, I think it will be nice because all of you have come, all of you may have some idea about what music and technology might mean for you. I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna share this link with you guys. Okay. And in this link, you are able to see this link. I think many of you that are on your laptop will be able to open this link. And on this link, I want you to like, you can like take a post-it note. So you can create a post-it note from the side over here and then write down like an idea that is like a music technology thing. It needn't be like an idea. It can be something you have seen or something you think that is music and technology or whatever. Feel free to write. It's completely anonymous, so no one will know who's typing what. So I'm just going to paste this link on the chat right now, and then let's see. You can feel free to like do this at any point. It'll be great. I'd love to see people go on there and just make post-it notes. And let me know. Let me know if like you can't see the link or something. I'll try fixing it later. So I have already written a few. Maybe I'll talk. I'll just mention what I wrote. I wrote Shazam. Maybe some of you have used Shazam. That's a very obvious, like already an existing application that is like music and technology. Then, so Shazam identifies the song playing in your background. And then I've written music in health therapy. I know music is used for like therapy. So maybe there are broad ideas around that. And don't worry if you can't think of anything, like just type something that you have used or seen in the past that is like related to music. So you can make like more post-it notes on the left. There is like a thing. Maybe I'll make a few more. I'm also going to write some. Wow, there's so many ideas already. So many different varieties of ideas. This is really cool. This is really cool. So I would say like you can keep adding to this if you feel like I don't want to keep people waiting, the ones who have already like exhausted their ideas. But I guess this is helpful for uh, everybody to see like many different ideas. So let me see. I see digital signal processing. People that are in electrical science know that that's a very important field. And music is represented as a signal, so you want to process the signal to understand the music. Then we have like education things like musician. Then we have music and mood, like effect of music on mood. Totally. Designing audio software, VST plugins, so you can make your own music software. Uh, I love this digitize the sound of nature. That's a very interesting one. It's always interesting to, especially when all of us are like indoors right now. I'm missing a lot of sounds that you often hear out on the streets. And being in the US, I really miss the sounds of like car horns and all the noise on the streets. If there were like versions of that I could listen to in the background. Then the stress fracture of a musical instrument on the strings and resonance of wood. That is such a beautiful, that's a beautiful field to explore, especially with Indian musical instruments. Very little has been done to understand why Indian musical instruments sound the way they do. um, Really, really cool. I think people are still writing, so I'm just reading. All right, and then I read AI generated music. I love that. That one is close to my home too, because that's my research area right now, about what it means to have computers make music. So this is really cool, and I think people can write more, and the link is open, so you can keep writing more. And maybe we'll look at this slide again later after a while. So feel free to go there and edit and add some more things as you see them. Uh, so what I'm going to do is, so usually we would have, if we were in the same room, we would have explored each of your ideas further, and I'll see if I can connect some of those ideas to a few chosen projects that I thought I'll talk about. So I'm going to talk about 3 projects, and just to show you the different variety of things that can be done with music tech. These are projects that really inspired me, um, and hope you find something to connect with in this. So the first one that we're going to look at is Hatsune Miku. Maybe some of you have heard of Hatsune Miku. If you have heard of Hatsune Miku, say that you've heard of it in the chat. But I'm going to explain it to people that have never heard of it. So Hatsune Miku is this Japanese pop star, but this Japanese pop star is an algorithm. It's a singing voice synthesizer that a bunch of producers, they make the music and the lyrics for it, and then they make the song, and then the algorithm, like the singing voice synthesizer, makes the music for it. And then Hatsune Miku gives concerts. So she performs concerts. As you can see in this image, there is there is like a huge, it's a phenomena. You see all the people, like huge crowds going crazy, and Hatsune Miku is such a big sensation that it was started in 2007, I think. And then the concerts have been so big that of the present time, I think Hatsune Miku was one of the headlining performances for the Olympics 2020 in Japan, inauguration ceremony that was going to happen. Sadly, it's not happening now. But and many other she performed with Lady Gaga. And it's so weird to say that she performed, because it is a hologram on stage. As you can see over here, it's like this animated hologram that's on stage, and the voice that you hear is an algorithm that's performing. Now, one thing that I find even more exciting about Hatsune Miku is, like, it was a phenomenon which can only exist in the age of the internet, because you're going to see a performance of an algorithm in the form of a hologram. And what's exciting is all the music that was created for Hatsune Miku was created by small-time bedroom producers. So people that are just sitting in their room making music, they got onto a forum. It was like a community, like Reddit, and people shared their music, and the music was then brought to Hatsune Miku, and then Hatsune Miku performed. So it was a way of, like, uh, making popular music accessible to, like, regular music makers, and not just keeping it in the hands of the few big companies. So it's a weird mix. And I have, like, a short video, because I think a lot of what I'm saying probably doesn't make sense. Like, what is an algorithm that sings, and what is a hologram that dances on a stage? So I'm just going to play a little bit of this video to show you what it's like. That's pretty sick. Isn't that sick? I really enjoy this. Sugoi, somebody says. So it's hard to understand, like, this phenomena. It happened in the internet age where everything was booming, and it happened in Japan, which is, like, more accepting of many of these post-future, retro-future ideas. Looks like a cartoon dancing on the screen. Where is the hologram? So in this one, it is a screen. You're right, but it's been in from 2007. So they have done so many things, so many ways of doing Hatsune Miku concerts. There are, like, there are, like, light field holography techniques used on stage. Sometimes they'll be with other live musicians interacting. Some other things that I really enjoy, what they did in Hatsune Miku was, they will so as you can see, it's all engineered, right? So the musician is not going to, like, make a mistake on stage, right? But whatever we can add to make it human makes it more interesting and exciting to the audience. So I've seen some concerts where uh, where Hatsune Miku is singing and then her mic cuts out and then she gets embarrassed and runs off stage. That's so crazy. That is completely produced to connect with an audience, and the dance moves are choreographed. There is like a live musicians on stage that are playing. There was another one where she starts crying on stage as she gives a speech for about her audience that has been her fans forever. So it's a real pop phenomena, which is pretty amazing to me. So that's one thing that I wanted to. I encourage you guys to like go check it out. Even the music may not be to your taste. I wonder if we can have similar holographic music of other genres and other cultural contexts. It's probably very hard. Okay, so does anyone have any? Let's see if there's any questions about Hatsune Miku. Yeah, the dance moves are choreographed. Looks like a cartoon dancing on the screen. Yeah, look it up. There's so many videos of Hatsune Miku, and there's not just Hatsune Miku now because it's a sensation. There's a bunch of different musician names. So I guess they're selling the personality too with the name and the cartoon embodiment of what this algorithm is. So this algorithm was the Japanese, the Vocaloid. So the Vocaloid is this thing that Yamaha had made, created by people in UPF Barcelona, which is a research institute there. Professor Xavier Serra was one of the main people that was part of this project with Yamaha, and then it was used for this amazing pop sensation. So anyway, next thing that excites me is algo raves. So again, I'll say if any of you have heard of algo raves, say I have, or it's me or something on the chat. But for anybody else who hasn't heard of what an algo rave is, it's basically a rave party where people are dancing and going crazy. And the music is being made from an algorithm. So people are writing algorithmic music on stage, which is again slightly hard to understand. But what it means is you write lines of code, and every line, and it's not like difficult coding. It's like one line. You write the sentence, and then that sentence ends up creating a beat. And then you write another sentence, and that creates a melody, and then you change that. And so you are performing with code live on stage, and the code that you're performing with is projected on a large screen, and everybody can see it. And it's making the computer an actual instrument where people can see and you can interact with this instrument that is the computer. And I find it very, very exciting. I'm going to play a little bit of this video again just to show you what it means. What is all these things that I'm saying? Algo rave, algorithmic music. Just play a bit of this.
If music is a form of code, then perhaps code is a form of music. This film examines how it is that ones and zeros can make us dance, and how some of the most ambitious electronic music is created at live events by coders.
Hello. So that's just a little bit to see what algo rave is. And this algo rave phenomena has arrived in India as well. There's a bunch of concerts that have been happening. There's a community called Algo Rave India. So you can go look for them, Algo Rave India. And they've been doing concerts where they perform algorithmic music on stage. Recently, after the lockdown, they did the first ever virtual VR algo rave event where you could just enter a room which was like a VR thing on space and on the moon, and people were performing over there. It was truly exciting. And just to show you how, so has anybody, so nobody responded about, so nobody has heard of algo rave before. Great, I'm so excited to show you something new. So just to show you how easy it can be to do this kind of music, because it might seem like you have to learn a lot of coding, and people that are not from a computer science background might think this is this is not for us. This is not interesting to me. But I'll just show you how easy it is. So I'm going to go to a browser right now, and I'm going to go on this website called gibber.cc. I'm going to type it on the chat as well for people to check out. So when you go on this website, it welcomes you, and there's some information about what to do, and you can close that. And there's already some code written on the screen. And on the left side, there are all these tutorials and other codes where you can start from. So you already have a starting point. So let's say I look at this code. The first line over here, it says A equal to drums. And I think you can see that, right? So I'm going to execute it. And you can execute it with the keyboard shortcut, which is Command Enter or like Control Enter. And can you hear the music already? And then the pitch is being controlled by mouse.y. So the Y position controls the pitch of the drum track. So easy to make music. What a world we live in. This is me just having executed all the things that are written here. We can make changes to this code. Look at that. That's a slow beat now. Okay, I stopped that. But as you can see, hours of fun. You can have hours of fun making music with code. And you can just go into the tutorials and help, and then learn more about how you can code using that. There's a bunch of languages and techniques with which you can engage in this algorithmic music. So that's like number 2 that I wanted to share with you people. And then number 3, and I would also say that a lot of this music sounds like techno, electronic dance music, but it doesn't have to be that way. There are many musicians that are using these to make folk music, to take samples of folk music and then remix it with ideas. So it's more about playing with these ideas rather than the genre of music. That comes out from the people that engage with it. So I'm excited with more of us Indians engaging in these techniques. Maybe we'll be able to make the next generation of like algo rave, classical Indian music concert or something like that. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the third project that interests me. And this one's really old. This one's very old. This one is like more than 10 years ago. And this is from my lab that works on making a bunch of interfaces. And here's an interface that they've made called Hyperscore. And with this interface, what you can do is you can just draw lines, and the lines that you draw get converted into musical notes. Now, you can think that many people will be able to make music using these now, especially people that don't have knowledge of music. But one example that I really love is where Dan Elsey is this person with cerebral palsy, who has had cerebral palsy for a huge part of their, has been like in a wheelchair, not able to make music, of course, for all their life. And now using this technique where their eye gazing is monitored for them to make these lines, they're able to make music. And they're a composer now. It turns out they're great at making music. And they've been doing concerts. So I'm going to play just a little bit of this video to show you how technology and music can be used to empower people.
And, thanks to Ted and to Bombardier FlexJet. Dan is here with us today all the way from Tewkesbury. He's a resident at Tewkesbury Hospital. This is by far the farthest he's strayed from Tewkesbury Hospital, I can tell you that, because he's motivated to meet with you today and show you his own music. So first of all, Dan, you want to say hi to everyone, tell everyone who you are?
Hello, my name is Dan Elsey. I am 34 years old and I have cerebral palsy. I have always loved music and I am excited to be able to conduct my own music with this new software.
And we're really excited to have you here. Really, So we met Dan about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, when we started working at Tewksbury. Everybody we met there was fantastic, did fantastic music. Dan had never made music before, and it turned out he was really fantastic at it. He's a born composer. He's very shy, too. So, turned out he's a fantastic composer, and over the last few years has been a constant collaborator of ours, has made many, many pieces, makes his own CDs, actually is quite well known in the Boston area, mentors people at the hospital and children locally in how to make their own music. And I'll let Adam tell you, so Adam's a PhD student at MIT, an expert in music, technology, and medicine, and Adam and Dan have become close collaborators. What Adam's been working on for this last period is not only how to have Dan be able easily to make his own pieces, but how he can perform his piece using this kind of personal instrument. So you want to say?
I'm going to forward a little bit just to show you a glimpse of the music that comes out of such a thing. So it's not easy to tell, but Dan is moving his eyes, and with his eyes, he's actually performing this music in real time. And it's pretty cool to be able to see somebody who was never able to make music before be able to like make a career out of it and realize their potential through this. Now, maybe there's few more people that have joined us. I'm going to go back to the slide where we were coming up with ideas. So let's see. We had a bunch of ideas that people shared. Okay, so these are some ideas that people had of what music technology could be. And I would say people can like keep putting things here even later, but let's see if there's some that we haven't seen that are covered here. So there's a couple over here on the bottom right that was about musical instrument and studying musical instruments. This is a very exciting field, and I'd love to talk more, whoever is like interested in this. And I would encourage like people to, if anybody has ideas in music technology, feel free to like reach out to me or and we can discuss more about where projects that you could do. And so anybody who's joining new and didn't see this earlier in the talk, we came to this link, and the link is in the chat. If you I don't know if you can scroll up. I'll paste the link in the chat again, maybe. And people can come in here. Yeah, I just shared the link. And so you can go on this link and just make more post-it notes to share ideas if you have more ideas about what music technology could be. Ideas that you might have seen, ideas that you have come to your mind, ideas that you might have even worked on, or just have a vague idea of this could be a thing, you know, just put it there. It could be a crazy outlandish idea. I know IIT Bombay people probably have amazing things that no one's tried before, so it'll be great to look at this again later. Let's see. So a lot of music and health. So stemming from the last thing that I showed you, there's a bunch of things with music and health, and I'm sure you guys have experienced it, that music is very highly entangled with emotion, and you listen to music that makes you happy, sad. Music is often used in background film scoring to make you feel sad. Sometimes I have like a playlist to make me feel happy when I'm feeling sad. Music is also connected very strongly with memory, and so I'm sure many of you have experienced listening to that song and being taken way back into that time, the first time you heard it, or you know, the person that you loved that you listened to the song with, or I don't know. There's so many things that connects with memory and music, and many people study the different aspects of it. So the way you study it is by preparing like surveys and and interacting with people. So what I want to say is it's not just about like writing code or making software. A bunch of it can be with humans, because music is a very human, social to social thing. And there's lots to study about how we do music, how we perform music. Music has also taken a giant hit right now because of the pandemic. Many people are not able to, well, there's no concerts and nobody's touring, and that's one of the main things that musicians do. Musicians are also not able to collaborate in person, where if any of you have ever been in a jam session where you just play music with someone, all of that has become almost impossible to do these days, which means people are trying to come up with new technologies for doing it. At the same time, it just reminds us of how much of a social and human to human thing music really is. There's a few other things that we didn't talk about, which one that comes to my mind is signal processing. So because I showed you mostly things that allow you to make music, but there's a bunch of things you can do where you understand the music. So you present music and you want to understand. Why would you want to write software that understands music? Maybe for recommendation. So music recommendation is a giant thing. You want to be able to like find the next song. You want music needs to meet its consumers, and it needs to be connected somehow. And all these streaming platforms are trying to figure out ways to do it. I would say they don't succeed, right? I don't know. Many times I find better music when my friend recommends it rather than when like Spotify plays the next thing. but that's another field to explore and understand, like what makes us like a song. There's also the field of music information retrieval, which means, can we extract information from the music, like where the beats are, what is the emotion of the song, what is the notes of the song. So for example, if I want to learn music, can I just feed it a song that I love, and then it makes a karaoke track for me to practice with, or it gives me all the notes that I should be playing and then teaches me how to play those notes. All really exciting fields that have tiny companies fitting inside each of those aspects of music information retrieval. In IIT Bombay, we have Preeti Rao, whose lab has been working on doing music information retrieval for Indian classical music, and with a bunch of things with tabla music and rag, and annotating these things and asking those same questions, but in the Indian context. So right here with you guys in IIT Bombay, you're having some of these ideas explored. Oh, I love the ideas that we are. Maybe again, we'll come back to this again. Keep writing your ideas. I want to think about. So I do want to. So as I was coming across all these ideas, so now we have a bunch of ideas over here. It's very hard to understand how these connect with each other. It all seems like very broad and completely unrelated. You know, one of these post-it notes and another post-it note seems like completely different, and the only common thread is that it is related with music somehow. And that's both exciting, because that means so many people from different fields can work on this. But I just want to show you a way that I thought of to organize a bunch of these ideas into a way that they can connect with each other. So a lot of the ideas work with, so this is what I thought. I thought music is first, or sound in general is first created. So sound is getting created. Sound is a vibration. It gets created because of some interaction, some physical interaction that has to happen, some excitement, maybe excitement of a membrane, or like two membranes clashing against each other, things like that. So different physical interactions cause creation of the sound. Maybe you can synthesize the sound electronically, maybe with 555 timer ICs and things like that. Then once the sound is created, it is modified based on the surrounding that it is in. So it reflects off of surfaces. It gets changed if you speak like this, or if it goes through your headphones or your speakers, it gets changed. The quality of that changes. And there are many questions to be asked in the modification of sound. And then the final step is the assimilation of sound. So the understanding, the consumption of the sound. So once the sound enters your ears, it becomes information. And you can ask questions about what it means to you. You can ask questions about what is it? So if it's music or speech, if it's music, then who's singing? And then you can get to the even meta questions of, do I like it? And things like that. So this is just a way that I created to put some of these post-it notes. And I think later on what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the post-it notes that we have and try to map it and try to move it so that I come up with this map. But I think I'll do it later, and then because I don't want to take up your time in trying to do this, feel free, like you can also try to organize these things in that way, or you might come up with another way to organize all the ideas into. So this is one way to do it, but maybe there's more. And I have more ways of organizing. I'll probably not talk about this in, like, to respect time. So here's a bunch of like ideas that I have put in different places according to this map. And again, I won't go into this maybe because it'll be maybe not as interesting. But these are ways to organize these sounds, and I have more of this on my website, so you can take a look at that if you want. Now, I do want to share some music because a lot of this has been the technology side of it. But this is a project that I did a couple of months ago when I was locked in my house and I wanted to make music, but I didn't have any friends. And so I just explored the many different ways that I could make music. So there are so many ways to make music nowadays. I've just explored some of them, and I thought I wanted to share this with you just to poke ideas to everybody that here are some ways that you could be exploring. Or if you have questions about what any of these ideas is, then feel free to ask me. But so I'm going to play this now, and we can take a look at the many ways to make music. I promise I don't think the music is that good, but but hopefully it's interesting.
With your shiny generate button, learn to have a conversation. You are not fun when you only talk and I just listen.
Stop it there. But so there's a bunch of ways that I've explored, and if anything seems interesting to you guys, then you can ask me and we can talk more about how I did one of these things. All these things are very easy to do, don't require no purchasing of things, all free, open source stuff. So just like before maybe I can take questions from people if people have like questions about music tech specifically or any ideas, crazy idea they might have or something. But I just want to show people that this community that we are building. So me and a bunch of other friends realized as we were exploring this field of music technology that heck, all of this is like super exciting and interesting, and maybe like I should have heard of this before, so you can maybe think about how you can even do a hobby project over the weekend or even build a career out of it. So we started building a community, and through the community we ended up meeting a lot of interesting people. And these interesting people never met each other. And once they met each other, there were artists meeting engineers, meeting developers, and everybody ended up making a bunch of exciting things. So this community was started just like more than a little over a year ago. And sadly, the pandemic has meant that we have not been able to do any events where we are able to meet in person. But while we were able to do that, we met a lot of times. We organized talks, workshops, hackathons, things like that. And we hope to keep growing. It's a completely volunteer-based organization that welcomes everyone, no matter like if you have ever done anything in music technology or you're like an expert, because we all hope to like learn from each other and slowly grow these ideas that we just have this common excitement about. So that's it. And thank you for having me and listening to me talk about this thing that I love, which is music technology. Okay, I'll answer questions if people have any. So I see one. How to use tech in Guitar Note to build music. Is Guitar Note a specific software that you are asking this in context of, or do you mean like how to build technology with guitars in general? Yeah. So one thing with a lot of technology is that if you want to write, so of course you can build hardware things. I know that we talked a lot about software things, but there's a whole big, because it's easier to talk about software things on a computer, which is really sad. It biases us towards software, but there's so many exciting things to be done in hardware. You can build tiny instruments that you can put strings on top of, and you can put this instrument inside your guitar. And for example, there are a few guitarists that work with making, do you know what an electric bow is? So an electric bow just vibrates the string at a constant frequency. I don't have one over here, sadly, but then you'd be able to put it near your string and then have your string constantly vibrate like a bow. And what you can do is you can put things inside your guitar. Like you can put like pens inside the guitar, and then you change the sound of the guitar completely. And then you have a completely new world to play with, but of course, if you're talking about software things that you can do with taking guitar, I would say like you can build plugins. You can play with plugins that exist in like different digital audio workstations. If you have ever recorded music, if you have never recorded music, don't worry about it. I'll send you some links if that sounds interesting. What? Excuse me, sorry. What platform is the singing voice synthesizer? So in the video, I just wanted to play with the idea of singing voice synthesis. So there is this company called Voctro Labs. I'm gonna type it over here so everyone can see it. Voctro Labs. And this company is based out of Spain, and they work with making singing voice related things. And they have some demos which you can try out where there are a few voices and you can type in your notes, but it always has the fixed melody. There's also Melodyne, but you have to purchase Melodyne, sadly. And it also, Melodyne comes with some like layers of skins that you can buy, which allows you to try out singing voice synthesis. This is a very new field, so hopefully new things will come up soon. If anyone's interested in this image that I have over here of me playing the ukulele and the other images, the first image is just a regular picture of me. The second image, I think, is with reverb added to the image. And the third image is with echo added to the image. And the fourth one is with phaser added to the image. Now, reverb, echo, phaser, these are all music terms. So it's weird to say that I added an echo to the image. But what I did was I took the image and I opened it in Audacity, which is a sound editing tool. So I opened it in a raw format that somehow tried to open a WAV file out of an image. And then I added the echo and then I converted it into an image again. So much fun. Can I tell a little bit about my research? Yeah, I can say like a very short answer is that I'm currently interested in AI music and how the ideas of AI generated music can be used as a tool of collaboration and composition. So if I'm a composer and I want to make music, how can I use the ideas of AI into my composition framework? That's something specific that I'm studying, but more broad, I'm just interested in why should computers make music and what does it mean for a computer to be creative? Is EDM a subset of music tech? What can be the future of that? So EDM is like a genre, and there are names given to genres. These names are often just so that you can group all the music in the same place, you know? So if you go to a music store, all the music is on the same rack. So all the rock music is here and all the EDM is here. But if you are somebody who makes EDM music, or if you know an EDM musician, they don't often identify as, oh yeah, I totally fit in this rack. You know, everybody's taking these ideas of music and trying to make music that excites them. And so I would say like all music comes under music tech. So there's no definition. There are no rules, of course. Yeah, you can, for example, the Hatsune Miku was an example of EDM that is something very much in the future. Is that the future we want? I don't know, but there's lots to be explored with electronic music and technology. Yep. I can say more about about Media Labs and MIT, and if anybody's interested in that, you can contact me on my email address. That is Manaswi M swim at MIT, or on my Instagram. This was a lot of fun. I only wish I was able to hear your voices and see your faces too in person. That would have been fun. Okay, one thing now, maybe before we close, what I want to do is, again, I'm going to take us back into there are more ideas coming in. I love it. I love it. So I want to say now what you can do is, if you go to this website, there are multiple pages on this website. And on page number 2, which I'm going to put a link of this for people to see. So let's see, I'm going to put it on chat. I have like a space where you can recommend songs. So it'll be really great if people like recommend a song. Just like take a post-it note. So I'm going to put in a few post-it notes, let's say. And just put in like some song that you'd like, that you want, that you've been listening to. Or this is partly selfish because I want more music in my life, but I think you guys would like music too, right? Yeah. So I hope this was interesting. I'm sorry if there was anybody who was not on a laptop or who couldn't go on these links later, but maybe you can check it out later. And then one last thing that I want to say is on the 3rd page, there's another page of this meetup. I have like a place where you can write your name and email address if you want to be a part of the music tech community that I mentioned. And I'd really like it if anybody wants to be a part of the community, then just to put your name and email address on the thing. So I'm going to paste that also on the chat, just so that everybody has it. Oh, nice. I love all the song recommendations. We can make a playlist out of this event. I hope this was fun.
Thank you so much, man. So, are we? So, I guess we're done for this session.
Yeah, I mean, I can still take some questions if people want, but yeah, I don't want to
please.
respect time. I want to respect time, and that is 1 hour. So we just did 1 hour. So congratulations to all of you for like staring at your screens for an hour.
I think we can take a few
Where
questions if people are interested.
Where is everybody at? I'm assuming so. IIT Bombay hasn't opened, so people are at their homes and doing virtual classes. Is that right?
Yes, we are having online classes.
Oh wow.
Very few students have been allowed to come back. They can't attend classes at home, but mostly yes, they're all at home.
How have the online classes started? How is it? Is it hard? Is it easy?
It's been 1.5 months, and yeah, it's hard.
Oh wow. So you have exams soon then?
Yes, midsems start on 5th, and we have like continuous evaluations and assignments all the time.
Oh wow. That's super crazy. Yeah, it is very hard to do virtual classes. I don't know how your teachers, how the professors do it. Professors are probably not even used to like Zoom and things like that. Do you have your classes on Zoom or another software, Meets?
MS Teams, almost entirely. Does anybody have any questions?
And I'd say feel free to like be recommending songs and also put your name and email address. Yeah, you can send it to me or you can put it on the last link that I have sent or the third page of this board that we created today. I hope we can like keep this board or we can send it to people if they're interested.
Yeah, we can post this on our pages. Yeah, sure. All right, then I think we do not have any questions as such. So
Yeah.
a little formal, I would like to thank you in behalf of the Music Club and the Tinkerers Lab for being here and talking to us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, for inviting me, and I'm so glad I'm able to do it, even though I'm not in India. I would have loved to be in India, but hope to see you guys again soon in person somewhere.
Yes, we'd love to see you in campus once all of this calms down, maybe next year. All right. Thank you everyone for coming here. So I think that formally concludes our session. If anybody wants to stay back or ask questions and all, feel free to.
I'm going to hang around for a bit if people want to still talk, but that's it. I can hear the applause. If anybody is thinking of pursuing music technology for applying to universities or thinking of doing a project or things like that, I'd be happy to help. All right. Thank you.